Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal. Today I'm here with the topic An Introduction to Exercise and Sport Physiology. So, the human body is an amazing machine. As you are sitting to listening this video or the introduction of the chapter, it's countless perfectly coordinated and integrated events are occur simultaneously in our body or in your body. These events allow complex function such as hearing, seeing, breathing, and information processing to continue without any conscious efforts. If you stand up, walk out the door, and jog around the block, almost all your body's system will be called into action, enabling you to successfully shift from rest to exercise. If you continue this routine regularly for weeks or months and gradually increase the duration and intensity of your jogging, your body will adapt so that you can perform better. Therein lie the body two basic components of the study of exercise physiology. The acute response of the body to exercise in all its forms and the adaptation of those systems to repeated or chronic exercise, often called exercise training. For example, as a point guard directs her team down the basketball court on a fast break, her body makes many adjustments that require a series of complex interaction involving many body systems. Adjustment occur even at the cellular and molecular levels to enable the coordinated leg muscle action as she moves rapidly down court. Nerve cells from the brain, refers to as a motor neuron, conduct electrical impulse down the spinal cord to the legs. On reaching the muscles, these neurons release chemical messengers that cross the gap between the nerve and muscles, each neuron exciting a number of individual muscles or fibers. Once the nerve impulse cross this gap, they spread along the length of each muscle fiber and attach to specialized receptors. Binding of the messenger to its receptors set into a motion a series of steps that activate the muscle fibers contraction processes which involve specific protein molecules, that is actin and myosin, and an elaborate energy system to provide the fuel necessary to sustain a single contraction and subsequent contractions. It is at this level that other molecules such as adenosine triphosphate ATPs and phosphocreatine become critical for providing the energy necessary to fuel contraction. In support of this sustained and rhythmic muscular contraction and relaxations, multiple additional systems are called into action. For example, the skeletal system provides the basic framework around which muscles act. The cardiovascular system delivers fuel to working muscles and to all of the cells of the body and removes waste product. The cardiovascular and the respiratory system works together to provide oxygen to the cells and remove carbon dioxide. The integumentary system, skin, helps maintain body temperature by allowing the exchange of heat between the body and its surroundings. The nervous and endocrine system coordinate this activity while helping to maintain fluid and electrolyte balance and assisting in the regulation of blood pressure. For centuries, scientists have studied how the human body function at rest during health and disease. Now, we are going to move forward to our subtopic of the chapter or the main title, that is focus of exercise and sport physiology. Exercise and sport physiology have evolved from the fundamental discipline of anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is the study of an organism's structure or morphology, while anatomy focuses on the basic structure of various body parts and their interrelationships. Physiology is the study of the body function. Physiologists, physiologists study how the body organ system, tissues, cells, and the molecules within cell work and how their function are integrated to regulate the body's internal environment, a process called homeostasis. Because physiology focuses on the function of body structure, understanding anatomy is essential to learning physiology. Both anatomy and physiology rely on a working knowledge of biology, chemistry, physics, and other basic sciences. Exercise physiology is the study of how the body's function are altered when we are exposed to exercise, a challenge to homeostasis because environment in which one perform exercise has a large impact. Environmental physiology has emerged as the subdiscipline to exercise physiology. Sport physiology, sport physiology further applies the concept of exercise physiology to enhancing sport performance and optimally training the athlete. Thus, sport physiology derives its principle from exercise physiology because exercise physiology and sport physiology are so closely related and integrated. It is often hard to clearly distinguish between them because of the same underlying scientific principle apply. Exercise and sport physiology are often considering together as they are in this context. About the acute and chronic, we will discuss in detail, little more detail, like exercise physiology evolved from its parent discipline physiology. The two cornerstone of exercise physiology first is how the body respond to the acute stress of exercise or physical active and how it adapts to the second is the how it adapts to the chronic stress of repeated bouts of exercise, that is exercise training. Some exercise physiologists use exercise in environmental conditions, heat, cold, altitude, etc., to stress the body in ways that uncover basic physiological effects on health, disease, and well being. Sport physiologists apply this concept to athletes and sport performance. Now, for example, an individual bout of exercise is called acute exercise, and the response to that exercise bout are referred to as acute responses. When examining the acute response to exercise, we are concerned with the body's immediate response to and sometimes its recovery from a single exercise bout. The other major area of interest in exercise and sports physiology is how the body responds over time to the stress of repeated bouts of exercise, sometimes referred as a chronic adaptation or training effects. When one performs regular exercise over a period of days and weeks, the body adapts. The physiological adaptation that occur with chronic exposure to exercise or training improve both exercise capacity and efficiency. With the resistant training, the muscles become stronger. With aerobic training, the heart and lungs become more efficient and endurance capacity of the muscles increases. Now, beginning of anatomy and physiology, we already know about the things. Just giving a few facts about this or the landmarks I will provide you here only because it's a need to be aware about the things and it is one of the main subtopic of the introduction of exercise physiology. That's why I'm sharing with you. One of the earliest human anatomy and physiology was given by Galen's Greek and published in the first century. As a physician to the gladiator, Galen had ample opportunity to study and experiment on human body. His theories of anatomy and physiology were so widely accepted that they remained unchallenged for nearly 1400 years. not until the 1500 were any truly significant contribution made to the understanding of both the structures and functions of the human body. And another one I will mm, mark here that from such observation, Fabricus suggests that muscles' contractile power reside in its fibrous tendon, not in its flesh. So here is all about these things, and just mention a one line that is 1921 Nobel Prize winner named as Hills or Archibald Hill, and he died in 1927. His one was a significant milestone in the history of exercise physiology, as inaugurated that day as Jodrell Professor of Physiologist at from the University of London, and he tells about a lot of facts about the physiology and anatomy. This is all about the historical or the facts of anatomy and physiology. And now we will discuss about the subtopics that we currently focusing on, like treadmill for exercise physiology to enhance the body capacity. We use the equipment other named as cycle ergometer and other research based about the exercise physiology and its concept. So if I'm talking about the treadmill generally produce higher peak values than other ergometer for almost all assessed physiological variables such as heart rate, ventilation and oxygen uptake. And about the cycle ergometers are the most appropriate devices for evaluating changes in submaximal physiological function before and after training in people whose weights have changed. Unlike the situation with treadmill exercise, cycle ergometer intensity is largely independent of body weight. So that's enough for today. We will meet you soon with such enhanced topic and elaborate the knowledge. Be in touch and subscribe the channel, press the bell icon button and like and share and comment those who are needed and those who feel it's worth it. Thank you for your support and blessings. Have a good day.